So the Midland Fan 1995 back at it again with another live stream. And since it's the 75th anniversary this year of the Railway Series, and I thought, why not reread this book by live stream? So it's Jock the New Engine. I actually got this from UK Amazon, and I'm hoping to get some more Railway Series books in the future. Last year for Christmas, I got the first 26 books by Wilbur Audrey. This is by Christopher Audrey. I got the first 26, the 75th anniversary reissue of that book, and I've been reading out of it. So the next book I'm doing out of that will be on Wednesday. You're late for People's Court! So, Jack the New Engine. All 42 books are listed in here. We need a new engine. Next, Bert and Mike, the small railway engines, were excited. The thin clergyman had written a book about them, and today it was going to be published. In my unit, asked Frank. He was a beetle, inclined to be grumpy. Small controller shook his head. I'm sorry, he said. You weren't here when the clergyman wrote it, I'm afraid, so he didn't know about you. Frank was cross. When his driver came to start him the next day, he refused to go. It's not fair, Frank grumbled. Why can't I be in the book with it? Why can't I be in the book like the others? Cheer up, said his driver. It's only a book. It's got pictures, hasn't it? Mumbled Frank. I'm not in them either, I suppose. Come on, Frank, said his driver, losing patience. It's teamwork that counts on the railway, not books. He pressed the starter button again. Don't care, growled Frank. Started suddenly. He jerked backward. Before his driver could stop him, Frank hit the wall at the back of the shed. Frank was unhurt, but one of the shed's supports was cracked. He was sorry at once, and even sorrier when he realized the fact that the small controller had just come into the shed. The small controller was cross and ordered Frank out to work. Well, made sure the shed was safe. That afternoon, Rex left the bottom station with a train. As they climbed the first hill, his driver watched the steam gauge anxiously. We got a steam leak somewhere, he said. They stopped in a loop to let Mike pass. That helped, but Rex was exhausted when they reached the green. He hardly noticed Frank working in the siding. I think we can make it to the top, cursed his driver. But they didn't. They had to stop in the next loop. And the driver switched on his radio telephone. Engines on a small railway are now fitted with radio telephones. The drivers can talk to control, who can then make sure that the trains run safely. Rex's steam pipe is leaking badly, for the driver to control. We're all right on our own, but the train is too much for us. Can you help, please? We'll get you out somehow, said Control. Don't go away. Very funny, mumbled Rex. Chance will be a fine thing. Bert passed with a down train. Overworked, that's what we are, he sympathized. We need another engine. But 10 minutes later, Rex heard Jeep from behind, and Frank rumbled it through the loop. Wonderful things, these radios, said Frank. Control says you need help. I'm to take the train and let you go home alone. Teamwork, my driver calls it. Frank ran ahead and Rex was uncoupled and back into the loop. Frank went first onto the train, and when everything was ready, set off for the top station. Rex hurried home. The driver set toward to mend the broken steam pipe. The job took a long time. If only the spare engine, grumbled the driver. At the top station, Frank's driver apologized to the passengers for being late, but they didn't mind. You put things right very well, they said. We were expecting a walk home. The small control was pleased too. All done, Frank, he said. And the shed isn't badly damaged either, so we'll say no more about it. But he was thoughtful when he went back to his office. Frank shouldn't have to do rescue acts, he said to himself. We do need another engine. Sticking power. The holiday season was drawing to a close. It had been a busy year, and Rex and Bert was feeling unwell. Rex and Mike were sympathetic. Polo Bert, they said to each other. Shane's out of puff. No stamina, they sensed youngsters. What you need, Bert, Mike went on, is determination and sticking power. Sticking power be glued. I might have known I'll get no sympathy from you two, grumbled Bert. I can't get my breath properly, Bert complained to his fitter. You need new tubes, the fitter said, but we can't spare you at present. Keep going, and we'll give you a new set during the winter. Paused and looked over his shoulder. Keep this under your dome, he said quietly, but I did hear rumors about a new engine. We need one in case, because if any of you three fails, we will be in trouble. He gave Bert's tubes a good clean. This helped a little, but Bert soon felt poorly again. Bert did his best, and one afternoon he reached the top station, feeling very pleased with himself. His train was full, yet he had lost only a few minutes on the journey. The driver put him onto the turntable, and he eagerly ran around his coaches. That gives me time for a good beaver before we go down again, he said to himself. He simmered happily as he waited for the guard to blow his whistle and wave his green flag. There was a hill near the station. Bert knew once he was over he could run home without losing time. The green flag waved at last. Come on, puffed Bert. Come on, come on, come on. Oh! Suddenly there was a jerk, and everything seemed easy. Bert's driver looked back. Whoa! He groaned. Back we go. He left our train behind. The guy met them. Lieutenant's complaints broke in, he said. We'll just have to stick around till someone can bring up a spare. Stick around, Bert grumbled crossly. I know what Rex and Mike would say about sticking. His driver looked at him. Hey, he explained. You gave me an idea. He disappeared into the station shop and returned carrying a small box. Glue, he explained. It's supposed to stick anything. Maybe a train, snorted Bert disbelievingly. Driver ignored him and set to work. Now I heard everything, mumbled Bert. Then an idea came to him himself. That'll stuff is easy, he said to himself. At last the job was done. There's no hurry, said Bert's driver. We'll take it steadily and make sure the passengers get home. The guard has told them what has happened, and they say they don't mind being late. The hill near the station was the difficult part. Gently, carefully, Bert eased the train over it. After that, though he took care, it was with growing confidence that he trundled the train home. The passengers all congratulated him and gave him 3 cheers. When Rex and Mike came into the shed that night, they looked tired. Phew! Remarked Mike. Thank goodness we're not as busy as that every day. Bert grinned. Sorry you're tired, said brightly. I thought you were older and just had sticking power. What you need is, and he told them about his adventure with the glue. So that's sticking power, he finished. Never mind, some of us have it and some of us don't. Good night, and he went happily to sleep. Jock. Do you know what I think? Bert asked Rex and Mike one evening. News to me that you could, said Mike cheekily. I suppose it would be, retorted Bert. Never had done any thinking yourself. Rex chuckled, and he and Mike waited. Well, go on, prompted Mike at last. Aren't you kind of impressed us with your thoughts after all? He winked at Rex. Something, and Bert announced after another pause, is going on in the workshop. Work? Suggested Rex innocently. Bert took no notice. I think, Bert went on, that the men are building something. I was waiting at the platform yesterday, and the workshop door was opened. I couldn't see much. There was something on the floor inside. It looked like a boiler. Is that all? Asked Russ. He sounded disappointed. Pulling his breath from one of us, said Mike. I don't think so, argued Bert. There were wheels as well. What I think, he paused dramatically, is that they're building a new engine. Dun dun dun. Whoever said he heard a rumor, added Bert. The 3 small engines looked at each other hopefully. About time, too, said Rex. What's the new engine's name? Mike asked his driver next morning. How did you know about the new engine? The driver asked. It's supposed to be a secret. They told them and he laughed. I don't think the new small controller has chosen a name yet, he said. When he does, I'll let you know. But a few weeks later, when the new engine came out of the workshops for tests, the small controller had still not decided on the name. How odd, remarked Mike, looking with interest at the new engine's square windows, square top dome. And what a funny color, put in Rex. No, it's not, said Bert. I like it. The new engine smiled. So do I, he said. My driver said it'll be different in the end. This is something he calls an undercoat. Douglas and Doug came to look too. Douglas had just bought some empty ballast tracks along the branch line. He and Doug watched with interest as the new engine was put through its paces. He puts me in mind of my days in Scotland, Douglas remarked. Some of the engines up in the Highlands were yellow in colour. Jocks, he used to call them. Jocks, asked the new engine stopping nearby. I agreed, Douglas. Not a bad name for yourself, I'm thinking, Jack? The small controller was delighted. Well done, Douglas, he said, and turned to the new engine. What do you think? He asked. It means you'll have to keep your color too, to get the names on point. Would you mind? Not a bit, sir, said the new engine. I like the color, and the name would suit me fine. Excellent, said the small controller. That's all then. Thank you, Douglas. Splendid idea. And Douglas puffed away, well satisfied with his morning's work. Teamwork. All the tests on Jack went without a hitch, and when the holiday months came, the new engine had reviewed this value. He was stronger than the others. And people even came on the rally on purpose to see him. Unfortunately, this went to a smoke box, and he became rather cocky. One day, Jack was alone in the power station. Our sleepers had arrived, but the lawyer couldn't get into the yard. Now what? Demanded the driver. The lorry driver scratching his head. No problem, said the small controller. Just arrange the trailers, drive the rails, and leave it. Jack will do the rest. A cable was fastened between Jack's tender and the trailer, and, puffing hard, Jack pulled the trailer into the yard. Roll the rail. What do I care? Jack posted in the shed that night. Then just looked at each other in dismay. The next day, Mike was waiting at the platform to take a train up the line when he saw Jack backing down towards him. What's this? He asked as Jack was coupled on. I can manage. Small controller wants me to help, said Jack importantly. A party on the train has asked to see me, especially. Oh, has it? Said Mike. Well, make sure you don't leave me to push you as well as pull the train. That gave Mike an idea. He whispered to his driver, who grinned and nodded. We'll do it after the green, he said. So when they restarted from the green, he gradually cut off steam. Now the whole way of the train, with Mike as well pulled on Jack's coupling, smoke and steam shot high in the air, and as he had to work extra hard, Jack's driver glanced back. When he saw Mike grinning, he realized what was happening. A little tired, are you, Mike? Asked Jack at the top station. You were enjoying yourself, Mike grinned. I didn't want to spoil your fun. I wonder perhaps if I was going too fast for you. Too fast, sputtered Mike. You wait. But Jack didn't wait. He chuckled and ran away quickly so Mike could have his turn on the table. Mike was still cross when it was time to leave and started at a great pace. Steady, said his driver. We're not racing anyone. That's what you think, murmured Mike. They stopped at the green. Mike's driver tried to let water into the boiler, but the ejector wouldn't work. Ouch! Squeaked Mike. Give me a drink, please. I think I'm going to burst. Your ejector has failed, explained the driver, turning to his radio telephone. Now Jock will have to pull us home. What? Spluttered Mike. But there was no other way. Mike's fire was put out. Jock moved to the front of the train. And in the end, little time was lost. Jock, warned by control, was waiting for any passengers who wanted to go to the big station. Mike wanted his shed to be mended and was feeling better by the time the others arrived. I'm sorry I made you do all that work. I made you do all the work this morning, Mike said. Mike apologized when Jock came in. Thank you for bringing me home. That's all right, said Jock. I'm sorry too. It's silly trying to get the better of each other. I didn't tease you. Perhaps you rejected when I failed. It taught me a lesson. On the railway is teamwork that counts. The other three small engines agreed. And looking at them, Jack was glad he was one of the team. And that, everybody, is Jack the New Engine. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next Let's Play. Peace out.